What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to learn how to control our bike with the foot brake. We're going to be learning how to slow down the wheelies, hopefully get you to be able to scrape your bike if you want to scrape your bike, like being like 12 o'clock if you have like a bar like I do, if you can see that. Oh, that's really far. Really big old turn. I'm like an owl, but my spine is like breaking when I do it. Anyway, so first things first, hopefully you know how to clutch up. Hopefully you know how to hold balance point pretty well. Hopefully your throttle control at this point is pretty smooth. And assuming that you've got all of that covered, hopefully you're also kind of already using the foot brake. But if not, I'll give you a tip real quick on how you can start developing the muscle memory for foot brake. So like say you've been getting close to balance point when you're chasing it out, but you haven't actually like used the foot brake at all. What I want you to be working on, if you're already getting pretty high, is try to clutch up to the height that you're used to and foot brake it down. Just clutch up, foot brake it down. Just do that over and over again, pretty much like, I don't know, as many times as it takes, probably a lot. And start working on clutching up higher too. So you go, one time you go this high, foot brake. Next time you go this high, foot brake. Next time this high, foot brake. You know, just start getting used to going higher and foot braking right away. Because say you're like trying to get to a new height, you're trying to like actually get above balance point to the dipping range instead of just sticking in balance point. You're gonna have to like force yourself to get better. You're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone. But I think the best way to do that is to just clutch right up and foot brake right away. Because if you like literally tell yourself out loud and like test your foot brake before you get it going, you're like, all right, I'm gonna pop it up and I'm gonna foot brake. Foot brake! Boom. Like it's not even dangerous, right? Because how can it be dangerous if you know you're gonna foot brake? You can't loop if you know you're gonna foot brake, and if you actually foot brake. So don't bail. Like hit the foot brake. If you get up and you get scared, don't bail. Hit the foot brake. You got to be ready to do it. Like it's got to be just like your reflex. You shouldn't be thinking about it. You should have it down as a reflex. All right. Say now you've got it to your reflex. You're like kind of in and out of balance point. You get up a little high. You get scared. You hit the foot brake. You come down. But you're kind of like you foot brake down and then you chase it for a second, but you get back up in there. Then you get high again. You foot brake down. Okay, now. So now we're gonna go to like holding balance point and then do it. So you're gonna get up here. You don't really need foot brake in all of like this range. Where you need it is a little higher right here. And you don't even need like a lot of it either. So what I did in the beginning of that is I like barely tapped it. Not really tapped it, I kind of like just barely get on it just a little bit when I'm dipping. And then what I did at the end was I smacked it real hard. So I'm gonna pop it up. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna just tell you when I hit it real hard. Foot brake, oh wait, hit it hard. Alright, it comes right down. Now I'm gonna do a little dip, but I'm gonna ever so slightly, I'm gonna show you with the front brake. It's gonna be like just that much. I'm just barely gonna get on it. Barely on it, and I'm off. Barely on it, off. Didn't even touch it, didn't touch it, touched it. So hopefully that's like helping you understand a little bit where you're gonna need to hit it. I'm gonna also get Ian to record a video of me so you can see exactly where I'm hitting it. And then I'm also gonna hop on his bike and show you guys that this stuff applies to any bike. He has, I guess it's not really stock, but it's a FZ09 stock gearing and all that. So now I'm going to just kind of explain, if you want to be able to scrape, what I would practice, like I was saying, clutch up, gain speed, then dip. Now if you want to scrape, you have to kind of let off the foot brake. You can kind of like get to a point where you catch yourself with the foot brake and let yourself like let go of the brake, and so you come into the scrape more gentle. or you could just go all the way to the scrape without braking. So this, I didn't touch the brake until I scraped. But now, say I want to do it like if I came in with more speed and want to control it more, I can get on the brake a little bit, but you don't want to slow down a lot, and you want to scrape with some speed. So I'm going to go on my dip, catch myself with the foot brake a little bit. Foot brake. All right, now drop off and scrape. You really, like, if you're trying to scrape, you really can't brake too much going into it, because you don't want to go fully to 12 with like no speed, because when you go to 12 with no speed or really low speed, that's where the sideways wobble kicks in a lot more. So try to scrape with speed. It might take me a second to get used to yours. It always does. Yeah, I'm wondering if yours like will have enough, like, because when you look at my foot, does it really look like it's moving at all? Yeah.
If you look in my videos on the XSR and this, I'm actually kind of somewhat moving my foot.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be easier to tell on this one. All right, let's see how fast we can figure out the FZ09. We're gonna focus on a couple key things. We're gonna clutch up, second gear, low speed. Gonna make sure my throttle is really consistent after the clutch up, and once we get to the dip, we're gonna let off the throttle. Golly, his foot brake grabs so much harder. So that's another thing. When your foot brake grabs really hard, you have to really learn to be gentle. My foot brake doesn't grab nearly as hard, so it still grabs good, but it's not as crazy. There we go. So we're feathering the foot brake. I'm touching it, I'm dropping off, touching it, dropping off, touching it, dropping off. You can kind of probably see in the way the bike might like bounce a little bit. Dang, I can't control myself on this one as much. Once I figure it out real good, I might see if he'll let me dip it real hard again. See how much that sideways angle looks crazy. So that time, we didn't start foot braking for a long time. That's how we're able to dip it a little bit more. We're letting it go farther back before we get into the foot brake, but we're also trying to approach the dip a lot more controlled, a lot slower. When you fling back into the dip, you're gonna have to hit the brake harder to make sure you don't like fly all the way back to the ground, you know? Now we're gonna, like I said, gain some speed and then dip hard. When you come into it with more speed, you can dip longer and you can also get farther back. So that's how on this bike I was able to almost scrape it, even though the tail was like, I mean, it's basically like a 2 o'clock wheelie. I'm gonna, you ready? I wonder how deep that is. When you go far back, you also have to be ready to like kind of balance with your hips. Dear God, don't let me crash, please. Is it getting close? It's scary to try to do it again. This thing was like bouncing as it goes back. Close? Pretty close? All right. I'm all controlled. I'm gonna just stop it there. I mean, bro, it's getting out of control, but it's still controlled.
I need to let some air out of that tire.
Should we? Yeah, maybe we should try that. But yeah, man, just being gentle on the foot brake, ease into the dip, use engine brake as your like friend, and you'll be able to dip your bike